In the last video,
絶対解けぬ密室。
そなたはわらわの挑戦を受けたいはずさ。なぜならそなたは探偵だからだ。
and thus we continue. Erika threw off her wedding dress as though it were a cape. Yes. Before she is a bride or a piece or a witch, she is one thing first and foremost.
私は探偵です。あなたを私の対戦相手に認めます。ただ、あなたはこのゲームに登場する資格をロジックエラーは修正できたんでしょうね。
その手袋を拾えばそなたとの戦いの中でそれが修正できたことを証明しようぞ。
グッド。
Oh! The cathedral was filled with chatter. Erika had picked up the glove. A duel. A duel! The cathedral was wrapped in a bizarre excitement. At Erika's nod, Delena pushed the crowd away, leaving the pair alone. People were permitted to witness this duel. However, no one would be allowed to interfere in any way. Just sit there all pretty like there, bachelor. Your waifu's got it all settled, bitch.
バトラさん、大丈夫です。
Hell yeah.
あなたを助ける方法はもう見つけました。
Shit. What did you come up with there, baby girl? Come on. Yeah, how?
今、あなたを助け出します。もうしばらくだけ辛抱してください。
Bito's resolute expression returned, and she grinned boldly, looking down on Erika. There can be no doubt. That's the expression worn only by the Golden Witch. The presence of the Master of Closed Rooms. A shadow dashed through the stormy rose garden. It was incredibly light and swift. The raindrops never touched him. He made no splashes in the countless puddles. His feet left no tracks in the mud. That rushing figure was Kanon. Then he ran up the stairs to the entrance of the mansion. He did not slow down in the slightest to open the door. He ran straight at it as though trying to break through, and leapt into it. Though the door was shut, even that couldn't stop Kanon. He slipped through the door, fell into the entranceway, and slowly stood up. His body wasn't even wet. And, as he recalled those nostalgic days spent serving the Ushiromiya family, which would never come again, he ran once more. He was heading for Battler's guest room. He ran past the servant room, through the entrance hall, and past the door to the parlor. Then the doors to the kitchen and the dining hall came into sight. All of it brings back fond memories. There was the honor and rigidity of serving Kinzo, directly. However, that man wasn't rigid at all the time. When the family was out of sight, and he didn't have to preserve that air of majesty, his face could turn unbelievably childish, and he would sometimes ask me to take part in strange pranks. The master let me shoot lots of guns, didn't he? That was pretty fun. Cross-sama was actually surprisingly kind. He must have gotten the impression that the master bullied me a lot. Whenever I was the only one around, he would talk to me in a very familiar way, almost as though he was a classmate of mine. I sort of regret that I held back and never did anything but nod in return. Madam was a really strict person. Ever since some rumor went around saying that she was strict on female servants but soft towards male servants, I get the feeling she viewed me as an enemy. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. When I've seen her alone, I've noticed her shoulders sag with the pain many times. There were a lot of servants, weren't there? Some lasted a short while others stayed a long time. Genji-sama was the one person I might have called my father. I am both grateful and resentful towards him over many things. They all mix together, cancel out, and I end up with a neutral emotion. In that case, Kumasawa-san could probably be called my mother. She's helped me out many times. I've always wanted to repay her someday, and now I've lost that chance for a long time. For all time, excuse me. Shannon is my Nisan. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to be me. Thanks for teaching me that the ocean is blue. Goda. I hate that guy. You and me both. Still, when I complimented his stew, he would sometimes turn red and say there was enough for seconds. I didn't dislike that part of him. I wonder why such a strong memory popped up at the instant I ran past the dining hall. And then, my memories of Jessica. It's a boy servant. How old are you? I think those were the first words she spoke to me. Come to think about it, she was probably interested in me ever since then. I really did have enough time to build up a love that wouldn't lose to George-sama and Shannon's. But since I could only see the Great Sea, I wasted almost all of that time. What does she like about me? What do I like about her? I get the feeling we never really made that clear. And now she told me. We should have stayed together longer to eventually find that out. It would have been fine to find reasons for our love later. It took me far too long to realize that. Now I think I can accept it. I know why Shannon won the duel. God must have been watching. You had so much more courage than I did, and God didn't abandon you. I reached the hallway with the guest rooms. There was someone lying on the ground. It was Battler. He was lying just outside the guest room, a chain tied to his neck. He had probably struggled to do something with the chain lock from the outside until he lost consciousness. His fingernails on both hands had been torn off, and they were stained with blood. I could tell at a glance just how hard he had tried until the final moment when his heart had died. The collar binding him wouldn't disappear unless the chain lock was set.
Battler-sama, 大丈夫です。今、お助けします。
Battler responded faintly. He probably hadn't even imagined that help would come to this eternal closed room. He was so scared that this might be an auditory hallucination brought about by a fleeting delusion that he couldn't bear to open his eyes easily. Kanon grabbed Battler by the arms and dragged him into the room. The The inside of the room was terrible. The windows had been brutally shattered, and the wind and rain had made its way inside. All kinds of tools and furniture lay broken there. However, Battler hadn't smashed them out of rage. The curtain had been removed, torn, and twisted up into a bundle. He had probably used trial and error to see if that could be used as a rope for some trick. He had tried using everything in the room, exploring all possible options to escape. The traces could be seen throughout the room and even in the bathroom. The empty bathtub was stained with just a bit of blood, and the nippers lay there on the bottom. To protect his tail, he had nearly been prepared to accept Bernkestel's brutal method of escape, cutting himself into pieces and washing himself down the drain. He was even willing to tear apart his own body to protect the game that Bito had entrusted him with. He had probably questioned himself over and over in this bathtub, wondering if there was any other way out. By the clock of the game world, not even a single day had passed. However, just how many years has it been in the closed room of the logic error? When faced with an endless span of time, any way of ending it, no matter how cruel, is tempting. However, he had rejected that until the very end. And even in the last moment when his heart died, he had wanted so much to show his iron will to escape from this closed room, that he had chosen to fall here in the corridor, with the chain still around his neck.
バトラ様、カノンです。
Oh boy.
どうかお気をしっかり。
He wiped Battler's face with a towel wetted in the sink. In response to that cold sensation, Battler's heart slowly started beating again. My throat gave out there, what the hell?
Kanon ka.
そうです。カノンです。よくぞ。今日まで耐え忍ばれました。
ちょいと寝坊が過ぎたみてえだ。
Battler realized that the feel of the towel on his neck meant that the cursed collar and chain were gone.
もうバトラ様を縛るものは何もありません。さあ、早くお戻りください。
でもよ、あのチェーンを開けるとまた鎖につながれちまう。
大丈夫です。もうバトラ様を縛る鎖は存在しません。僕がここに残ります。
何？だって。
By now, Battler knew the terror of this endless closed room better than anyone else. So he was more filled with shock than happiness. Shock at the determination of the one who was willing to become the new prisoner.
僕は大丈夫です。何も心配することはありません。
しかし、
バトラ様はまだやらなければならないことが終わりなのではないですか。
俺は
お戻りをあなたの代わりに戦っている人がいる。そしてあなたの帰りを待っている人がいる。あなたはまた帰らないのですか？
His stern words and gaze shot straight through Battler.
本当にいいのか？
はい、それでいいんです。これであの時の借りが返せるのですから。
借り？俺カノン君に何か？
バトラ様の借りではありません。いいから言ってください。僕は借りを作らない主義なんです。さあ早く。あなたは今度こそ待たせてはいけないんです。だから早く。
Battler couldn't argue back anymore. He silently bowed his head, unset the chain, and opened the door. Kanon had remained in the room, so no chain appeared about Battler's neck. He could leave this closed room just by running out. The happy-sounding voices that he had heard at the far end of the corridor had been replaced with an excited chatter. There must have been some sort of strange disturbance going on. As Kanon went out into the corridor to see me off, the merciless caller and chain had already captured their new prisoner. He would remain inside this endless closed room in Battler's place.
カノン君、俺もだぜ。
何がですか？
俺も借りを作らない男だぜ。この恩は必ず返す。それもすぐにだ。
期待していいやら。さあ走って、あなたの愛する人のところへ。そしてどうかもう二度と迷わないで。
Battler didn't turn back again. He ran with everything he had. He ran out into the corridor, whose warmth he had cursed so many times. That cursed chain no longer bound him. He ran to the very end of the corridor, beyond the light. Kanon, still connected to the chain, watched him go, then quietly returned to the guest room. Now he only had to worry about his own job, stay in this room, and fix the error in logic.
これでチェーンロックをかけて。
As soon as he said it, the chain disappeared from his neck. Then, if he hid in the one place Erika hadn't checked, the broken logic would be fixed. The closet door opened slowly. It was well oiled and opened without a sound. It was cramped inside and dark. This tiny space is the last place I'll see. As long as I remain hidden in here, the logic will be preserved.
簡単な仕事だな。バラの手入れより簡単さ。
Kanon went in it and closed the double doors from the inside. As soon as he did, a single small gold butterfly appeared, melted into the darkness of the closet and vanished. It was a sign that the logic had been fixed. The witch's game had already stopped, and the clock of the world of pieces would never tick again. So, for all eternity. No one would come to save him from this place.
別にいいさ。これで借りは返したよ。ベアトリーチェ。
The power of the gold butterfly brooch taught me about love. In the third game, it gave me some quiet time alone with Jessica. I get the feeling it did many other small things for me. At any rate, I've paid back all of my debts now. Now, all of my debts are...
ジェシカが貸してくれた音楽テープ返してないや。いいよね、ジェシカ。あれ気に入ってたんだ。だからプレゼントにしてもらってもいいかな。ダビングして渡すからダメ？
Slowly, Kanon's body began to melt into a cloud of gold butterflies. And after the inside of the cramped dark closet glittered like a golden planetarium, it faded away like the light of fireflies, and was painted over by a pitch blackness for all eternity. In the cathedral, the goat attendants were all jostling around either side of the red carpet. On the red carpet, standing across from each other, were Bito and Erika. In their hands were the pistols given to them by Zapar and Fafur.
フリントロック式ですか。また古風な。
Ah, stuff it.
気にするな。悪魔というのは様式美にこだわるものでな。
Its form was similar to an actual old-fashioned gun, but this was, of course, a demon's gun. This wasn't a gun. That would propel a lead bullet with an explosion caused by gunpowder, like the pistols used in a duel between Shannon and Kanon, whose bullets had contained a magic that would always kill. These pistols also had bullets that were not made of lead.
ベアト、心配の必要はないわよ。あっさり勝ってまたリアは悪態の日々だわ。
この勝負が終わりましたら、たまには有給を申請してみましょう。
Ah!
私、この戦いが終わったら、たまにはぶらりとカリブの方へ船旅にでも。
Hell yeah, baby.
この勝負が終わったらはやめとけって。決闘前に演技でもないわ。
ベアと緊張感を持ってヘラヘラ笑ってる場合じゃありません。
なんでリーチェがリラックスしててリアが緊張してんのよ。もう。
ベアとリーチェ様、しっかり。
Ah, look at the fan club.
ベアトリーチェ様に不利な一騎打ちだ。どうして？本来魔女は手数で勝負できる。ところがゲームが中断されたため、手持ちはバトラ様の客室の謎くらいしかないのよ。エリカはその謎だけ青きくさびでうがてば、全ての謎を解明したことになってしまう。勝てるわよ、ベアトリーチェ様とバトラ様の 我らが二人の主を私は信じる。
お呼びですか？
ありがとう。珍しく勝ちも負けも五分五分だと思ってます。だから先にお礼を言っときます。
すべて職務です。感謝の必要はありません。
あんたが前回のゲームの時、私がボロクソに負けたのにかばってくれた時嬉しかった。私生まれてから誰かにかばわれたのってあれが初めてだった。我が主にさえ私はかばわれたことがない。私が主に与えられたのは、暴かれた真実には暴き返すことで自分の痛みを打ち消すという傷つけ合いの仕方だけでした。
傲慢をお許しください。私は守らねばと思いました。あなたがどんなか弱い真実で生き、それをよりもっともらしい虚実の横暴で虐げられてきたか察した時、あなたを守りたいと思いました。
ありがとう。短い間だったけど、あんたは最高のパートナーでした。
これからもです。
そうですね。あいつを倒したら、あんたと一緒にこの島でいっぱいミステリーを作りましょう。そしてそれをあんたに出題していじめて遊ぶ。どうです？
気に入りました。あなたの挑戦楽しみにしています。
あ、嘘ごめん。今の撤回です。こういうの負けフラグって言うんでしょ？
さあいいかい？二人の決闘者たち。
When the two demons clapped their hands, the duelist instantly returned to their bold, tense smiles.
魔法の銃に込める弾は鉛じゃないわ。
ミステリーとファンタジーのうがち合いは赤と青の真実を弾とするべきさ。
互いに真実がある限り弾は無限。
ただし一撃でも当たれば即死。
Damn, it's like the fucking Danganronpa truth bullets. This is fucking weird, man. What year did this come out? What year did Danganronpa 1 come out? Something smells fishy. Anywho.
両者覚悟はいいね。
当然。
無論。
栄光ある元老院の議員にして偉大なる絶対の魔女大追い出ません。汝この決闘の立ち会い人となることを誓うか？
もちろんよ、誓うわ。
The crowd split, and Lambda walked forward with Bernga still by her side. She looked between the faces of the two duelists. Then she took out an envelope with the seal of the one-winged eagle, and lifted it high.
ベアトリーチェより封書にて物語の修正書を受け取ったわ。
Oh, revisions.
審査の結果、内容は有効。
Okay.
ロジックエラーの回避を宣言するわ。
How, though?
チェーンロックはかかったまま。これまでの赤き真実に一切矛盾しない。
Huh. The many goat attendants knew the details of Bachelor's closed room. They realized how difficult it was. And, though fiery debates had swept across the crowd during the reception, none had been able to find an answer. And now, It was clear that Beatrice had already reached one.
よって本決闘は有効。決闘はたった1点。バトラの客室の密室をめぐって行われるわ。チェーンロックがかかった密室から後ろ宮バトラは失踪した。これについてエリカは青き真実の争点を、ベアトリーチェは反論の赤き真実の争点を。決闘は決着がつくまで続けられるものとする。
上等だ。
上等です。
オーケー。それではベアト、あなたが修正した新しい物語と謎をエリカに提示して。
密室のいとこ部屋よりカノンは魔法にて封印を破らずに脱出。密室にいたり魔法にてバトラを密室の外へ脱出させた。
くだらない物語。
結構。エリカ側確認は？
副賞要求。バトラを救出したのは間違いなくカノン本人である。
受けようぞ。バトラを救出したのは間違いなくカノン本人である。
副賞要求。バトラとカノンは別人である。
Nice try.
受けようぞ。バトラとカノンは別人である。
結構です。
エリカ、確認は以上？
今ので結構です。戦い方は決まりましたので。
オーケー。両者は弾丸を装填なさい。
Oh, this is gonna be juicy! Erika turned around, pressed her finger against the barrel of the pistol, made her blue truth into a bullet, and pushed it in. There was no rule saying that she had to turn away, but she didn't want her expression to be read. Or it might have been because she couldn't stand the tension of looking at Bito's bold smile. Bito had already finished loading her red truth. She waited for Erika to finish while calmly puffing on her pipe. Yeah, puff that pipe. What? Then she looked at the Battler, who sat on the throne of the Territory Lord, right next to the two witches who were here as witnesses. Battler's consciousness was still hazy. However, he apparently understood that Bito had come to duel for his sake, so that he could be saved. It was all he could do to just look at Bito with those sluggish eyes. But a flood of emotions passed between them. There was no need for words. A look was enough for them now. Erika closed her eyes tightly, her finger still up against the barrel. At that moment, her stunning powers of concentration made all the distractions of the outside world disappear. Good. It's always been like this, but my concentration really is good. Are you ready, me? Frudo Erika? First, let's lay out the situation. Battler disappeared from that closed room. The chain lock is set. Did he disappear by magic? Of course not. There has to be a trick. Kanon didn't save him with magic. He just came, took Battler's place, and set the chain. Everyone knows that much. Ha! The problem is the next step. No, it's actually the step before that one. Kanon was in the cousin's room in the guest house. That room was completely sealed with packing tape, and it's been proven that the seal was intact until the time of the logic error. In other words, Kanon escaped from a closed room that was absolute, with no chance for excuses or twisted logic. Good. This is why she called it a simple yet ultimate closed room. How did he escape from the perfect closed room known as the cousin's room? If I got stuck thinking only about that question, I'd be no better than your average kid detective. That room is a perfect closed room, so there's no way to escape. In other words, trying to think of ways to escape from there is a waste of time. The real question is how Kanon was somewhere outside the cousin's room when it was sealed. The cousin's room is a completely sealed can. If he was in there when it was sealed, then it's already game over. In other words, at the time the cousin's room was sealed, he wasn't inside it anymore. Let's look at the time I checked everyone's location and sealed the rooms. That's the most suspicious part. At the time, we have the 5 people in the next room over, whom I confirmed with my own eyes. Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo. I mentioned the names of those 5 people during the location check and confirmed that they were in the next room over. Then I checked to see whether everyone else was in the cousin's room and had that confirmed for me as well. I said everyone else, so whether he was Kanon or his real name Yoshia, or even... Do I really have to say this? Alright, whatever. Or even Perapero Pickleban. They all should have been sealed in the cousin's room. Oh my god. It seems perfect at a glance. However, though that phrase, everyone else seems perfect, it's fishy. It smells fishy too. Oh boy. Strictly speaking, everyone else refers to all humans whose names I did not mention directly. In other words, there are exceptions. For example, it's been confirmed that Hideyoshi and George were in the next room over, so humans with the name Hideyoshi or George don't need to be inside the cousin's room. It seems that Kanon told Jessica that his real name was Yoshia. But that was no red truth. In other words, what if Kanon's real name is the same as one of those in the next room over? They seem to be about the same age, so let's use George. So, what if there were 2 Georges in that room? That doesn't violate the red truth saying that Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo are in the next room over. Let's say that Kanon's real name was Tanaka George. Both Ushiromiya George and Tanaka George could exist in that room at the same time. In other words, there were 6 humans with 5 names. It looked to me, to my eyes, as though there were only 5 people in the next room over, but a 6th person, Kanon, was hiding somewhere. I don't have the detective's authority, so it wouldn't be that difficult for him to fool my eyes and hide. I see. The double name trick. Stupid. So stupid. Alright. I've made my logic. Kanon, who was hiding in the next room over, not the cousin's room, left by the window after the seals were placed. Bang! The gun had fired, and the tip of my finger was stained with blood. The blue truth gunpowder had exploded. Ah. Damn it. I've already had Delaner seal that one. Blue truth arguing about the window of the next room over is forbidden. So I can't use it.
どうした暴発か
That's embarrassing.
弾は慎重に込めぬとな
Oh, they can be.
うるさいです。
No!
ちょっとしたミスです。
隣部屋の窓 くだらん小細工で塞いだようだな。ガープに聞いたぞ。
そうですか。それが何か。
ドラノール、そのくだらぬ封印を解け。今やその封印は貴様らの枷であるわ。
Bito has figured out everything I've been thinking, and she's acting so confident, telling me to go ahead and use that argument.
エリカ卿、
解いてください。
Wah, wah.
あんにゃろう。後悔させてやります。
準備はいいようだね、決闘者たち。良ければ向き合って銃口を。そして真実の火種で着火を。
After facing away and readying herself one last time, Erika spun around. Bito had been facing her since the beginning. She wore a confident, challenging smile, as if she had been kept waiting. Then, without any signal, the two slowly raised their guns, pointing the red and blue glints that hid within their barrels at each other.
来い、楽しませてもらうぞ。
始めなさい。まずカノンがいかにしていとこ部屋の密室から脱出したか、それを弾丸とします。
ほう、そちらから来るか。来るがよいぞ、存分に。
参ります。
After holding the gun high and pointing it at Bito once more, Erika pulled the trigger with statements of red and blue truth.
いとこ部屋は完全な密室が最後まで保証されています。よってカノンがこの部屋に本当にいたなら脱出は不可能です。つまりカノンは封印時にいとこ部屋にいなかったのです。カノンの名は仮のもの、本名は未だ不明です。彼の本名が仮に隣部屋の誰かと同じだったなら隣部屋の在室確認に矛盾しない。つまりいとこ部屋に収容されず隣部屋にいることができるということ。
The goat attendants chattered and clapped their hands, thinking yes, such a move would work. I love watching this. I love being surrounded by this chatter. After all, I am the detective.
隣部屋は確かに封印されましたが、ロジックエラー時には扉のみしかその維持が証明されませんでした。よって窓の封印は破られた可能性があります。カノンは隣部屋に存在し、その窓から脱出したのです。以上。
Any other theory would be impossible. If this doesn't work, then there's no truth left. As soon as she said that is all, both of them fired at the same time. After the blast ran out, it was Erika's gun that fell to the floor. Bito's red bullet had knocked Erika's gun from her hands. Was it arrogance or confidence? If she had just aimed that bullet at Erika's heart, the whole thing would have been over. Bito had missed on purpose. There was a bold smile on her face. It was as though she was offering to play with Erika a little longer. No, that's exactly what made her Bito. Beatrice, the witch who mocks others with unsolvable closed room tricks.
封印時の隣部屋にいたのは秀吉、ジョージ、熊沢、シャノン、南條である。そして隣部屋の人数は5人である。この5つの名に該当する者以外は存在しない。すべての名は本人以外には名乗れない。
It was a thoroughly merciless red truth. It was simple and severe. Now that the number of people had been limited to 5, any leeway for Kanon hiding there had been completely denied. Also, it was now clear that only people holding those 5 names existed within the room. Erika couldn't even make a new theory by suggesting that one person held 2 names, so that the 5 names referred to only 4 people, which would let an unnamed Kanon sneak in. Furthermore, the part about how people could only use their own names was a fatal blow that cut down countless theories.
思えばそなたは前回の寝ぼけたわらわしか知らんのだったな。どうだエリカ、これが黄金の魔女のゲームだぜ。
Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it feels good to have her back like that. God damn. Like, hot damn!
カノンが部屋を抜け出したっていうの。それよりどうして銃を弾くなんて甘い真似を。
人間側は魔女の謎をすべて打ち砕き、魔女側は人間側の推理を一つ打ち砕けばいい。これではアンフェアだろ。だからわらわも同じにすることにした。
同じ？
わらわもそなたの推理をすべて打ち砕いて勝利することにした。
Oh, damn!
カノン脱出の謎はわらわの勝ちだが、もう一つ。
Oh?
バトラに辛酸をなめさせた最初の戦場に戻ろうぞ。
When Beatrice snapped her fingers, that guest room of battlers was reconstructed. She meant to fight once more in the room that had threatened Battler with a logic error, determined to settle things once and for all.
エリカ、拾え銃を。
Well, shit.
この部屋をお前の棺桶にしてくれるわ。
Woohoo! Nice.
その言葉、そっくりお返しします。私にチャンスを与えたことを後悔させてやります。
立会人よ、エリカに X を許す。
X？ 説明不要の根拠ね。で、何を許すの？
エリカはカノンの密室脱出トリックの説明義務を負わずに、カノンをこの客室トリックをめぐる青き真実に組み入れることを許そうぞ。
A theory explaining how Kanon saved Battler would also need to explain how Kanon escaped from his own closed room, or it would have no basis. Erika had already lost that basis. Bito was giving her a handicap by saying that she didn't need to explain that part.
当然です。あんたはカノンがバトラーを助けたことを赤き真実で保証してるんですから。そんなのもらえて当然です。
Erika faced away again and concentrated even harder. As though twisting the knob on the radio, she turned all noise and idle thoughts down to 0. Let's go. Furuda Erika. Detective Erika. As long as Kanon reaches his place, rescuing Battler isn't hard. The trick is as follows. Kanon used some kind of escape trick X. Okay, here we go. To reach the front of the guest room. While I was busy in the bathroom, Battler left the closet. Battler undid the chain lock. Battler went outside. Kanon entered in his place. Kanon set the chain lock. Kanon went into the closet. The end. Okay. This satisfies the 2 red truths about the chain lock being set in Bachelor's absence. And, in exchange for this escape trick, Kanon remains inside the guest room. There's no room for argument on how tightly this room can act as a closed room. That chain is cursed. In this demonic closed room, one person must remain as a sacrifice for it to be acceptable. However, is such a simple theory really enough? The rescuer switched places with him. Then, the rescuer hid in the closet. No other sort of theory is possible, and yet Beto thinks she can win. In that case, does some other trick exist? It's impossible. I swear on the history of the mystery genre that there's absolutely, definitely, categorically no other way. But if I give in here, I couldn't call myself a detective. Consider it. Imagine. Don't stop thinking. That's how you drive blue wedges into witches. What I can expect to see is... yes. A wordplay trick. It can only be some kind of wordplay that just barely slips through the net of words spoken in red. In that case, I'll crush all possibilities. I'll have them repeat line after line. This final duel has already begun, even though we haven't pulled our triggers yet. Pull the trigger, I dare ya.
バトラ救出時、客室に入ったのはカノンのみである。
認めようぞ。バトラ救出時、客室に入ったのはカノンのみである。そういう話のつもりだが。
復唱要求。私の入室からロジックエラージまで、私とバトラとカノン以外に入退室した者は存在しない。
認めようぞ。そなたの入室からロジックエラージまで客室を出入りしたのはそなたとバトラとカノンのみだ。
復唱要求、それはすなわち3人のことである。認めようぞ。そなたとバトラとカノンで3人である。定義確認。この3人の定義は体の数に等しいと考えていい？ 3体が出入りをしたってことですよね。
I've had enough of things being mixed about with names and numbers of people. I want this point to be clear.
無論だ。3人、すなわち3体が出入りした。そなたとカノンは入ったのみ。バトラは出たのみ。すべての名は本人以外に名乗れないと赤き真実ですでに語っている。よってエリカ、バトラ、カノンの名はいずれも本人にしか名乗れぬのだ。
Ah, I like that last line there. That's clever. Alright.
復唱要求。私は救出者ではない。
当然だ。そなたは探偵ではないか。安心せよ。わらわはそれを尊重する。
定義確認。救出者の定義とは？
This is also important. I want to quickly remove the possibility that I rescued him accidentally.
救出者とは、バトラの開けたチェーンロックを再びかけ直したものということにする。
Okay.
バトラを救う意志があったかどうかは問わないことにしておく。
Since she said after Bachelor unset the chain lock, it's impossible for this to have occurred before I set foot in the room. From that point on, I wouldn't undo the chain again for all eternity. After all, the game was suspended at that point. Therefore, it was impossible for me to have been the rescuer accidentally. More. I can focus it even more. The chain can only be set from the inside. It's impossible for a person to escape on their own. Therefore, we know that Bachelor didn't escape by himself. And I'm not the rescuer. Only Kanon can be the rescuer. And Bito has already said that Kanon is the rescuer with the red truth. There's nothing to doubt. There's no room for anyone but Kanon to be involved. At least, so far.
副賞要求出入りの定義とは客室と外部の境界をまたいだかどうかである。
認めよう。
副賞要求客室とはベッドルーム、バスルーム、クローゼット内のすべてを含む。
認めようぞ。クローゼット内を客室でないと言い逃れる気などさらさらないわ。
定義確認客室内とはベッドルーム、バスルーム、クローゼット内の3区分である。
わらわもその認識でいるぞ。そしてすでにそなたはベッドルーム、バスルームの2区分で誰も隠れていないことを赤き真実で確認したはずだ。
副賞要求クローゼット内には誰かがいる。
拒否する。
どうして？カノンがそこに隠れているからですか？
カノンは魔法が使えるのだぞ。確かにクローゼットに一時姿を隠しはしたが、その後すぐに魔法で姿を消したのだ。だからクローゼット内には不在。よって復唱はできぬわ。
それの復唱を再要求します。
バカめ。魔女側には魔法で行ったことについて説明する義務はないわ。
No, it's completely obvious. There's no way she can say that Kanon disappeared with magic using the red truth. After all, magic doesn't exist. But is this enough? I've gone through every last minor detail, and yet there's an uncanny lack of dubious points. I can't think of any way around the theory I've had since the beginning. Kanon must be in the closet. He has to be. There's no way he isn't. I'll say it again. This closed room can only be escaped from by switching places with the rescuer. If Kanon tried to escape as well, another rescuer would be needed. However, no rescuer exists for Kanon. Bachelor escaped, so it's impossible for it to be him. And I won't undo the chain for all eternity. The people who have gone in and out of the room have been confirmed both by name and number of people. At this rate, my theory is set in stone. First, here are the details of the situation that are certain. Ow, my frickin' elbow. The game ended while I was inside the guest room, so I did not undo the chain lock that I had previously set. So it can't be that he escaped after I left the room. Furthermore, the chain lock was set at the time, my mouth words. Furthermore, the chain... I apologize. Furthermore, the chain lock was set at the same time I entered the room. No one could have left the room during the few seconds between the time I entered and the time I set the chain lock. The guest room was sealed at the time Bachelor's corpse was examined. So until I came again and broke the seals, it was absolutely impossible for anyone to go in or out. Therefore, when I entered the room, it was certain that Bachelor was hiding somewhere inside the guest room. The only chance Bachelor had to escape was after I broke the seals. To be even more specific, he had no chance to escape except for the time I was in the bathroom. By the above premises, Bachelor's trick to escape with the chain still set is as follows. Because of the aforementioned reasons, the only one who could have set the chain lock, which can only be set from the inside and allowed Bachelor's escape, is Kanon, the only person to enter the room except for me and Bachelor. After Kanon entered the room, he set the chain, hidden in one place that he could hide inside the guest room, the closet. Whoa, that was close. They almost got me. They almost tricked me. I thought I'd cornered him in the closet. It's the opposite. They are trying to make me think he's in the closet. What was the order in which I searched the guest room? First the bedroom. We confirmed with the red that there was nothing there. She searched the bedroom. Then she searched the windows. Then under the beds? No, I don't think... Did she search? No, there was no need for the windows, no. So then under the bed, then the not the closet, the bathroom. And then the tub. Right. So, bedroom, beds, bathroom, tub. Unless she didn't search under the beds? I could have sworn she has, though. I don't know. Anyway, I'll continue. I'm trying to remember, I'm sorry. We confirmed the very truth that there was nothing there. Then the bathroom. Oh, she didn't? We confirmed that the red that there was nothing there. That's it right there. When I examined the bedroom, there was nothing there. Unless by saying bedroom, she's counting under the beds. Which actually makes sense. Yeah, okay. However, while I was investigating the bathroom, Kanon slipped out of the closet and hid again somewhere in the bedroom. In other words, my guarantee that no one was in the bedroom was torn apart during a span of 1 minute. I've spotted it. This is the witch's trap. An attempt to lure me into thinking that Kanon's in the closet. The place he's really hiding is the bedroom.
見つけた。やっと見つけましたよ。あんたのトリック。
That was a close one. If I'd been one step slower, I'd have said there was nowhere to hide except inside the closet. And then she'd just say that the closet was empty. No, wait. It works the same way in reverse. I see now, I get it. It's a logic switching trick. Damn that Beto. So, in resolving the logic error, she's discovered this strange trick. If I only notice the closet, she'll have Kanon hide under the bed. And if I only notice the bed, she'll have Kanon hide in the closet. Even though either one would be right, I'd lose no matter which I choose. Unless I expose both at the same time, I can't checkmate her. Incredible. I've never heard of such an unfair trick. If it was a sleight of hand, that'd just be a cheap one. If it was a mystery, it'd be just cheating. However, in this witch's game, it's a legitimate logic trick. My mouth is so dry, y'all. Jesus. However, in this witch's game, it's a legitimate logic trick in chess. It'd be called a double check. No. A discovered attack. Or wait. would it be a discovered double checkmate? Even though this sort of logic would be a foul trick in the mystery genre, in this world where witches and mystery war, it is such a refined board layout. The beautiful placement of the black pieces that cornered my white king felt almost like an art, excuse me. My mind read that as an N for some reason. I don't know why. So beautiful that if I were a god in some old legend, I might wish to stick it in the sky as a constellation. That beauty even brought tears to my eyes. Weird. For the first time, I felt honored at being allowed to participate in this game of truth and witches as a human. And ironically, it taught me, the one who had always believed in a single truth, that there isn't necessarily just one truth. If I just broaden my perspective, I can see completely different truths. And though each of those truths are truth, they are incomplete if they are all you can see. In my life until now, just how many truths have I missed because I was blinded by some trivial truth? This is the true nature of the world.
真実は一つしか存在しないというおごりが、たった一つの真実を見つけただけで、それ以外の真実から私たちを盲目にしてしまう。ありがとう、ベアトリーチェさん。まさか魔女にこの世界の真理を教えられるとは思いませんでした。
Slowly, with a soft and quiet gesture, like a flower opening with the morning dew dripping down its side, Erika raised her gun.
私の勝ちです。あなたのダブルチェック、見切りました。
ならば来るがよい。
バトラの客室失踪トリックは以下の通りです。バトラは私の室内探索中、クローゼット内に隠れていました。そしてバスルームの騒ぎの間にチェーンを外し、室外へ脱出しました。この時、廊下にはカノンが待機していました。カノンは入れ替わりで客室に入り、チェーンを施錠しました。これがバトラ失踪のトリックです。そしてその後、彼はベッドルーム内に隠れました。私がベッドルームに不審者がいないことを確認した後のことですので、それは有効です。よって救出者カノンはベッドルームに潜伏しています。
Erika's blue bullet flew in a strange arc, became a wedge of the blue truth, and pierced straight down through the bed and the floor beneath. Bito didn't pull her trigger. However, she did quietly argue back with the red truth.
ベッドルームにカノンは存在しない。
Oh, the goat attendants gasped. Erika had apparently been defeated, denied by the red truth. For the goats who couldn't see more than a single truth, it probably looks as though I've lost.
次が本命です。これが並び立つ真実を知り得た人間の答えです。どうやら幻想物語では第二の晩までが終わってるみたいですし、ならば 私が残りの番を遂行して黄金鏡への扉を開いてあげましょう。あなたが負けて消えるならば、それは黄金のバラに包まれてがふさわしい。
The fires of blue truth flashed at Erika's feet, and she loaded a blue truth bullet once more. That overflowing blue power was now making her entire gun burn with a blue flame. She wasn't aiming for Bito. She was aiming behind Bito, at the closet.
ベッドルームを否定したならば、もう逃げ場はここしかない。死ね、カノン
The 5 witches of blue truth, she released a shot right past Bito's cheeks, hair, and shoulders. Then pincushioned the door to the closet to gouge whatever human was inside to death. The 5 witches slammed into the door in a vertical line. In other words, on the 4th twilight, gouged a head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouged a chest and kill. On the 6th, and on the 7th twilight. On the 8th twilight, gouge and kill and kill and kill and kill and kill again. After being gouged by so many thick and sharp wedges, the human inside wouldn't stand a chance.
これが私の暴く真実です。以上。
When she proclaimed that she had finished, the 5 blue wedges piercing the closet disappeared. However, the many large, splintered holes left behind showed that it had indeed been pierced. Then, as though this completed the ceremony that led to the Golden Land, the room that had been created around them became countless golden flower petals and drifted away. By now the duelists and the crowd of attendants were surrounded by the golden rose garden of the Golden Land. However, the closet behind Bito remained. It stood there all by itself like a coffin. Then, as though teased only by a dreary wind, the hole-covered closet door slowly opened. Inside was a human figure. That figure was covered up to the head by what appeared to be a grayish robe. Of course, that also had large holes, showing that it had been stabbed into. I read that right? Yeah. Eventually, it became clear that this was not a robe, but a raincoat. If he had rushed here from the guest house, then there would be nothing strange about him wearing this into the guest room. Then, with a rustle, the raincoat lost its human shape, crumpled, became a cloud of gold butterflies, and disappeared. Inside the coffin of the closet, nothing remained except an empty darkness.
客室にカノンは存在しない。もちろんクローゼット、ベッドルーム、バスルーム、このすべてにおいてである。カノンはバトラーを逃がしクローゼットに隠れ、そして魔法にて消えた。それが魔女の真実。 以上だ。
Oh, Ufa.
勝負ありです。それ以上は
勝者ベアトリーチェ
Oh, oh! The attendants let out a cheer. Virgilia's group couldn't help but scream and shout in joy. The seven sisters jumped about in celebration. Then, at the same moment, the two demons proclaimed Beatrice's victory. The head's ring worn by Erika, who was slowly crumpling to the ground, and the cursed ring on Bachelor's finger both burst. At the same time, Bachelor coughed violently. Bachelor was starting to regain consciousness.
バトラー！
Oh goddamn. There's like 2 in 1. Rito latched onto the coughing Bachelor in joy. Then Virgilia, Gap, and Runaway did the same. All the seven sisters also crowded about him in delight.
Beatrice だ。こんなので通ると思ってんのか？こんなトリックじゃまた人間どもがこんなのミステリーじゃねえって騒ぎ出すぜ。いいえ、
立派なトリックです。愛がない人には見えないです。バトラさん、バトラさん。エリカ卿、エリカ卿、誰か手当てを、早くです。
Oh my gosh, she's having a heart attack! The rose of blood in Erika's chest wouldn't stop opening its petals. What?
第3度概念否定症。
Okay.
存続系中和剤は不可。大至急の最短承認でのみ中和可能。
She's in utter denial!
駒の主の最短承認が必要なりや。
So I don't think she's gonna.
ベルンカステル卿、最短のご許可を。ベルンカステル卿、どちらに？
Yeah, she's gone.
式典警備隊に捜索要請。ベルンカステル卿を探したまえ。了解であります。オールシエスタ、データリンク、捜索体制。卑劣。
Why is that cowardly?
主が駒の決闘を見届けないなんて。卑劣が過ぎると知れ。
Alright. Erika, who was being held by Delaner, had already realized that her master was nowhere to be seen. But she didn't feel lonely. On the contrary, she was relieved that she wouldn't need to be brutally scolded in the last moments of her life.
神と悪魔たちよ、彼女の高潔なる散り際をどうか語り継ぎたまえ。
高潔。悪役ってのはきっちり無様に散って主賓を盛り上げなきゃです。
You're goddamn right. I'm not anyone's piece anymore. I can finally control my own role.
エリカ卿、動いてはいけません。
下がりなさい。下がれ！
When Erika yelled with all her soul, those who surrounded her were forced back and fell on their butts. Butts.
私は死 真実の魔女フルトエリカ。
Are you sure about that?
真実の魔女とは真実に耐える魔女です。私はようやく自分の本当の真実を受け入れられそうなんです。
Oh god, trippy. The toxin of her own concept being denied raced through her. Her vision was already starting to blur. At the other end of her twisted range of vision were Battler and Bito, hugging each other and looking at her. Oh god, I can barely see the two of them. Oh my god, why? Their expressions are firm. That's okay. Pity and sympathy would only make me look more pathetic. For a loser, that sort of expression is the best.
エリカ卿、もう決闘は終わっています。
終わってないんだ。
死が二人を分かつまで。
誰にも彼女の散り際を汚せない。
The two demons grabbed Delena's shoulders and held her back. Dripping blood, breathing heavily, and with an awkward gait, Erika walked towards Bito and Battler despite it all. As the blood dripped from her, it became golden flower petals, which drifted away. So, as she walked, she looked both divine and beautiful. The duel wouldn't end until one of them died. So even though it had been settled, it hadn't ended. Bito and Battler told the people bunched around them to step back, and they both walked forward to face the noble loser.
Erika.
復活おめでとうございます。あんた、長男の層を持ってますよ。ろくな女に好かれやしない。
そうだな。俺もろくな女に惚れねえな。
ベアト、いいえ、あんたたちに頼みが。
もう人たちを望むのですか？
エリカ。
受けようぞ。そなたの高潔なる申し出を断る無粋をわらわたちは持たぬ。
ありがとう。
As her consciousness began to waver, Erika raised her gun again. She pointed it at the two of them. Bito also raised her gun to point at Erika. Oh, hell yeah! Obvious thumbnail. Like a big old duh. Then Battler placed his hand on hers.
もう決着してるのに、これ以上何の論点があるというのです。
エリカ様。
私はなぜ何の力にもなる。ここに見届けなさい。それが親友の仕事でしょ。
Both sides silently loaded their bullets of truth without saying a word. The color packed into each barrel was red. So, though neither side spoke, did they both know what trump card the other would use?
最後に自己紹介しとこうと思いまして。
What's she saying? This late into the game. No one could imagine the red truth Erika had loaded.
ベアト、いいのか？
はい、
構いません。
わかった。
せめて最後の引き金は一緒に。
わかってるぜ。
Battler placed his hand on top of the finger that Bito had around the trigger.
バトラさん、会えてよかった。
俺たちは永遠にずっと一緒だ。
イチャイチャと見せつけてくれます。イラついてきてたんです。やっぱお涙で退場は私の好みじゃないです。やっぱ悪役は最後の最後までこういう面でなきゃ。
いい面構えだぜ。お前との結婚生活もヘドが出るくらい楽しかったかもな。
当然です。快楽の世界に閉じ込めてあげたのに。
お前ごとき小娘、バトラーを虜にするにはまだ1000年早いわ。
ああ、あんたの顔もそれが一番キュートです。お互い最後はこういう顔がいいですよね。
恋。
これが探偵フルドエリカの最後の捨て台詞、そして自己紹介です。
Erika spun in a magnificent and graceful rondo, scattering blood and golden flower petals around her as she raised her gun.
はじめまして、こんにちは。探偵フルドエリカと申します。招かれざる客人ですが、どうか歓迎を。我こそは来訪者、ロッケン島の18人目の人
間。申し訳ないが、
そなたを迎えても
17人だ。
Damn. And by the way, what they just stated, I think I figured it out. I think I have. And I'll explain everything after the two Tea Party segments. Unless I absolutely need to think out my theory before then, because maybe that's when they'll finally give out the true answer. I don't know. I just feel like I should wait until after the Tea Party segments. Right? I'll wait a few days after I upload this video here. So, yeah. Let me know down in the comments if I should give out my theory before starting the Tea Party or after the Tea Party. I mean, regardless, you're going to be hearing my theory during that video, so, yeah. What does it matter? But I think I got it. I think I do. Using my big brain powers and maybe... Okay, I will give credit due to who it is owed to. Thank you for the hints. I looked back and thought about it, and what everyone has been saying until now, I think I got it. I really hope I do, because it is a stretch, but it could be a stretch that's actually true. So, all of the goats. Yes, they must be included in the credits. Fuck off. Alright. And actually what Battler and Beatrice have just stated, actually, I think I am absolutely right. Which, by the way, if it is baffling. And I wonder how they're going to actually... I don't know if they will. Probably not, right? I don't know. Whatever. I'll just dish out everything in my mind during the next video. Oh, shit. Well, here we are. Hopefully you all have enjoyed not only this video, but the entirety of episode 6. This is not going to be the finale, aka the end, as I like to put in my thumbnails. This video is just the finale for episode 6, but the real end of episode 6 is the Tea Party segments, which will be next video. So stay tuned for that. If you did enjoy this video here and are looking forward to the next video, please leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because there will be more Umineko coming soon. Just reminders, links in the description. There is a link to the playlist, link to my Twitter for future updates, and there is a link to my Patreon. If you would like to support me and support the channel, please go ahead and check that out. And talking about my Patreon here, there is something to discuss. I need to give out a shout out to those who have pledged in the Wall of Sinners tier. So, thank you to Jenny, and thank you to Asias. There is also a $10 tier for those who would like to have a part in what we do next after either a visual novel or a AAA game, which I will be discussing in a future video or later on my Patreon in a post and on my Twitter about that. So stay tuned for that, as I am hoping maybe I can do AAA game streams instead of just videos. Again, I'll have to try and figure that out. And until then, stay tuned for that news. So anyway, that's the video, and that's the end of it. Again, thank you all, and I hope to see you all next time for the true end of episode 6, Dawn of the Golden Witch. So until then, please, as a reminder, stay sinful, folks.